Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Uberview, episode 10. We made it. We're here, finally. As always, joined by Brandon, my partner in crime. Geez, man.
Yeah, man. I was telling you before the show, we finally made it. You know, most podcasts don't make it to episode 10, so we've made it. We're officially an Overwatch podcast. Blizzard can start paying us now. Yeah, I mean, we've made it. So
we have, and I think Scott is the one who coined the phrase "umphy of the game."
Umphy of the game.
Umphy of the game.
You just won so many times. So Scott, that is Scott Kurtz, a man that I met at San Diego Comic-Con many years ago. Probably doesn't remember our encounter.
No.
And one of the nicest guys I know, the creator of PVPOnline and Table Titans, Scott Kurtz.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Welcome, Scott.
It's so good to have you on the show finally.
Welcome me. Hi, JB. Hi, Umphy.
Hi.
My name is Umphy.
Hey.
Pronounced with an Umphy. Did you once get busy in a Burger King bathroom?
I don't know.
He's too young.
Yeah,
he's
too fucking young. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Do the Umphy ump.
Steve
When
Hamaker.
you're younger than your chair.
Yeah.
Yes, you're younger than the chair you're sitting in.
Yes, I am. I found the tag on the bottom of my chair this week that aged the chair, and I'm actually younger than my chair that I'm sitting in. So
That's crazy.
Maybe it's time to upgrade. I don't know. It's a pretty good chair, so I'll stay with it for now.
Scott's chair, though, I gotta say.
Or Steve's chair. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, or Steve's chair. I mean, look at that thing in the background.
Fool, look at that.
It actually looks like that thing actually just like dispenses amazingness. You know, it would actually make me better at games, I think.
It makes me way better.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
it's like
I interrupted Steve's intro.
Overwatch.
It's all
I
right.
interrupted Steve's official
It's
intro.
all good. I was, wasn't really paying attention to Steve anyway. Sorry,
I'm
dude.
Steve. I've been here the whole time, all 10 episodes.
We just haven't ever mentioned him. He's the guy doing all the sound effects. He's
I'm the show mascot.
he presses the buttons for us.
I do the music at the beginning.
yeah, it's good stuff. It really is. It's almost Blizzard quality, I would say.
Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encode. Brrr. I have no idea what that means.
Is your Twitch giving you shrubs?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure people are looking at it going, because the video is like way stuttery and stuff.
No.
So,
Twitch has been weird this week, actually. I don't know if it's people's rigs or Twitch itself. So
yeah.
Well,
I don't think it's you.
they just did their Twitch Prime thing for Amazon Prime members, which is pretty awesome. Because I mean, I'm not an Amazon Prime member right now, but it actually like kind of makes me intrigued. Like maybe I will get Amazon Prime because I can also subscribe to one of my favorite streamers, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think you should explain it to me because I did not understand Twitch Prime at all.
So Twitch is owned by Amazon, obviously.
Right.
Wait.
And so
Stop. We have to introduce Steve.
we still haven't introduced guys. Steve Hamaker, the man, the myth, the legend. He's here. He's been here the whole time.
The whole time.
Through all 10,
Just
all
go
10
back,
episodes.
listen to all the episodes.
Scott Kurtz and me and Josh.
That's right. And I've known Steve. Okay, I had to stop and restart the stream. So we're still recording, thankfully, but I had to stop and restart it. So I've known Steve's name for years because I'm a huge fan of the Bone comics, and he's the colorist on the graphic novels, which is amazing work. And then, of course, he does the coloring for Table Titans, and he does his own comic called Plox. Do you even sleep, Steve?
Yeah.
Steve gets plenty of sleep.
4 or 5 hours a day. Yep.
That's good. That's good.
Listen, if I don't get my 7 to 8, I just don't wake up.
If you get your solid 8 in.
You're young. You hit 40, you'll know. You only need 4. Especially when you have kids, you're like 4 is fine.
4 is
Yeah,
totally fine.
So Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about Plox and what exactly it is? Because that's your newest thing, right?
Yeah, Plox is my comic. Scott and I work on a comic called Table Titans. A lot of people probably already know about that. He draws and writes it, and I color that. And we've got some stuff in the works, where he and I are going to work on some stuff more collaboratively in the future. But Plox is my just kind of my love letter to World of Warcraft and also the place I live, Columbus, Ohio. So it's about 3 friends that live in Columbus. They're gamers, they're friends, they're not having the best time with each other. In the first volume, it's kind of about how you interact with your friends in real life and in the video game world, like how those 2 things juxtapose. And so check it out. It's free to read. It's plox-comic.com, and you can get books, you can read for free, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly, and we've of course we'll link to it in the show notes once we post the show. I actually had read a little bit of Plox before this year, but I bought Steve's Plox book at PAX this year.
Oh yeah.
And I read through it, and man, it's awesome.
Was it okay? Did it work?
There are a couple characters.
Did it work?
Did the book work?
I opened the book and I got no resolution on it. That's a bummer.
It didn't read to me, so I just set it back down.
Yeah, I'm still at that stage where I'm like, did I write the right stuff? Did I make it make sense?
Everything was all good, man. It was great.
It's a big mess. I know.
And so here we are.
I'm sorry, Josh.
No, just talk right over me. It's okay.
So yeah, I was reading it today during some ETT. If nobody knows what that is, it's effective toilet time, and it really it caught me. I'm gonna read some of it when I go to bed tonight, and so I'm really engaged with it so far, Steve. And I love the art is my favorite because you not only dive into these characters that are in real life in Columbus, but you also dive into their in-game characters, which is really cool. So,
yeah, thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll like it. If you mentioned that you've played WoW and stuff, so I think you're gonna relate to a lot of people. Anybody that's played any kind of immersive MMOs sort of game and has been in a guild and just also had friends in real life that you play games with, I think those people will relate to it. So that's kind of the goal.
Definitely. So Scott, why don't you tell me? I haven't consumed too much of PvP online, but why don't you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Oh God, I don't know how to.
Well, Scott, start. You started when he was 2, so why don't you start there?
Yeah, I started it when you were. Let's see,
that's
3.
It was
so
98 is when you
98
quit your job.
Yeah. So you were 3 years old, and I started PvP.
Yeah.
And it started out as a webcomic about just video games.
Poop and fart jokes, come on.
I think every webcomic in the late 90s was about video games.
Yeah, there were a lot.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of us. But I guess I evolved it past then. And the elevator pitch we use for it now is The Office meets The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I know, I hate it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm shaking, I'm nodding my head, but I'm like,
No.
No.
I don't know. It's a comic I do every day, and it's geek humor and character humor. It's been 18 years I've been doing it. I've never thought of a good way to describe PvP. Steve, how should I describe PvP?
Oh man, I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm like an original fan. Like I literally started reading PvP and it like when you started in 98, 99.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I've kind of, I've been with those characters for so long.
I know.
I just like now it's kind of like The Office where all the archetypes of the different characters and they just make sense to you. And so, and obviously Scott has known them even longer. So he's writing them in that way. So it's kind of just like, I'm just tuned into, I know what Brent's going to do, or I expect, what these different characters are going to do in this situation or whatever. So it's
once you get into
it's
PvP,
very hard to describe.
It's a lot like any of your favorite sitcoms or characters, and you get to know them, and so something will happen in the strip, and you're like, oh man, is Brent in the office? Because I know exactly, not necessarily exactly what he's going to say, but like, here comes the snark. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's really a great mix of characters.
It is a lot like The Office, I think.
It reminds me a little bit of News Radio too, actually.
Oh, very much so. When I started really caring about the characters and really, because when I first started it wasn't anything I thought was gonna last or that I would keep doing for very long. But then when it started to get traction and have an audience, and it was like, oh, this is my thing now, and I really wanted to make it good, I fell back on Night Court and News Radio because I felt like those were very funny shows with characters that were very distinctive and heartfelt, but they just made me laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
And they're very similar, right?
Yeah.
In
fact, I'm actually showing my oldest to News Radio. I've got the first 3 seasons on DVD, so we've just been kind of an episode a night, and it's so great. So there's a lot of scenes that in PvP that'll happen. I'm like, oh man, this is so good. Of course, we're talking about a show that Brandon he doesn't know what we're talking about.
I think it wrapped in '96. So
probably.
We're so
his
mean.
chair was into it, but
his chair, the chair was fresh, man. He was into it.
The chair remembers Bill McNeil.
That's awesome. That's so cool that you guys do that, and you guys get to work together on that type of stuff too. So, Josh,
hey,
so
I need no introduction. I look like Tony Stark minus the suit and the money. So that's the.
Listen, all you need is the looks. It's okay.
Yeah, well, if they got me the money, then I'd be all right.
The suit's on the way. Don't worry. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Barnacles, I mentioned him when we were kind of doing the pre-show stuff. He was on last week. He's huge into 3D printing. He 3D printed himself. He's a heavy guy, and so he printed himself a stormtrooper outfit that would fit himself.
Oh wow!
And it's a full body armor. And I keep teasing him. I'm like, dude, when are we going to do the Iron Man thing? How cool would it be to do a whole series of videos? Because he's actually a big YouTuber. He's got a lot of over 500,000 subscribers. And I'm like, dude, how cool would it be to do a series of videos of building this suit, and then the thing opens and it looks like Tony Stark?
That would be awesome. Listen, Josh, do you ever get asked, like, on the side of the road, like when you're walking to work or doing whatever you're doing, do you ever get asked to, like, stop and take a picture because they think that you're Robert Downey Jr.?
At least once a week I get a comment, somebody saying, have you ever been told you look like? And lately I've been like, who? Who are we talking about?
Who's that?
A couple times people
switch it up.
Right, exactly. A couple times people have asked for a picture.
No.
Yeah, and I've more than happy to stand with people want a picture like that.
Well, I know if you make it to BlizzCon, I'm going to ask you to take a picture with me. I'm just going to tell everybody Robert Downey Jr. was at BlizzCon, so.
And he's wearing lifts because he's 6'4".
Yeah, you're a little tall for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I couldn't really be a stunt double.
So talking about last week.
What's funny because what I get is people think that they're like, I'll pass by and someone will say to their wives like, Jesus, Ralph Macchio really let himself go.
Oh my goodness!
And then
fantastic.
I just crane kick.
Do the crane. Not the kick, just the pose.
Just the
pose. Yeah, no, I can't do the kick.
Nope.
Oh boy!
Oh my goodness!
So last week we announced that we were doing a giveaway, and
I won, didn't I?
Did I win?
Yeah. If you guys went and rated the show, you would have.
Yeah, you definitely could have had a great shot at it. I'm telling you.
That's true. That's true. And if you want, we could probably get you a T-shirt and some Blizzard bucks if that'll do it for you.
Yep, that will. Thank you.
So we had some ratings and who won, Josh?
The username is ssrjazz. He was in the chat room and really active last week, and he followed us on Twitter and gave us some ratings. So we're going to get email us, Mr. Jazz, uberviewshow@gmail.com with your deets, and we'll get you a shirt. Tell us which one you want, what size it is, and we'll get you the stuff. So congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great prize, man.
10 episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Oh yeah, me too. Listen, when me and Josh started this, we wanted to have a place where friends could come together and enjoy talking about games along with Overwatch. I mean, we talk a lot of WoW on here. We talk a lot about other Blizzard games, but it's just nice to be able to come together once a week and talk a little bit about Overwatch. Because honestly, it's an amazing game, and I'm really happy to be involved in the community around it. So
yeah,
and,
come together.
I
like it.
So,
and Scott and Steve, thank you guys so much for being here for our 10th episode. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Dude, yeah, me too.
Definitely.
So, hey, let's have you guys been? Let's talk about the week. How have you? I've seen you guys in a lot of WoW, and I have been doing Brewfest, and that's about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been leveling and doing some dungeons. I've been tanking.
I'm loving this expansion. I think it's a ton of fun. I don't know if I like it more than Pandaria.
Did you like Pandaria more than Wrath?
Nah. Well,
no.
That's hard to say.
Don't ever say that.
Wrath does kind of seem to be the
Wrath of the Lich King? Yeah, that's the top for me.
It was a really, really good expansion, but I was so into Pandaria. I was so into all of it.
Well, it's pandas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, but it was even Pandaria was such a cool, and then the Shaw stuff and the.
Well, I totally agree.
But but Lich King is so. Lich King really felt like a really cool, like, driving home the lore of Warcraft.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Right, because like vanilla WoW was like, oh wow, they're taking the Warcraft game and it's an MMO now, and Taurens and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then Burning Crusade, I didn't really like Burning Crusade. I was like, I don't
you.
give a shit about Outland and the fucking Blood Elves. And
I'm with you, dude. I'm so with you.
You know, and I'm like, okay, now we're in Outland, and then Lich King was the third one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But then Lich King was like, yes, Frozen Throne, Arthas, all this shit, the lore. And,
and it was really exciting. Cool. Mm-hmm.
And then Cataclysm was a shit show.
Didn't like Cataclysm, huh?
You know what? I'm going to come to Cataclysm's defense real quick.
Really?
You don't understand how important Cataclysm is now because you forget that
that's true.
You couldn't fly in the old world.
That's true.
Let alone do half the quests in the old world.
That's
like
true.
They revamped the entire old world. So
that is true.
Cataclysm was two things. It was expansion, but it was WoW 2.0. Like they went back and they did a lot. They rebuilt the old world
that's true.
The ground up. So
yeah, it had its moments.
You got to give it a little bit of,
And I like the Worgen.
And LFR started in that expansion. At the end of that expansion with Dragon's Soul.
I kind of hate LFR, so
love it or hate it. It changed the dynamic of
for sure.
a lot of things about the game. And for somebody like me, I really appreciate LFR.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time to raid anymore, and I wish I did, but I don't. And since that time, I've used it, and I can gear myself up. It's it's important.
And you get to see the story. I think the reason that I have a hard time with LFR is because I've never been like a raider, right? Like, I never raided in Catalysm. I never raided in Wrath of the Lich King. That's when I started playing. And I never raided. I raided a little bit in Pandaria, but that was just only like for a couple months. And something about raiding and seeing those guys have like the raiding gear, and knowing that if I really want that gear, I have to like put in some time and effort and go do some stuff. And LFR just kind of took that away for me, at least, because now you just get to go and do it, right? And that it has its ups and its downs, but I really miss the days of, oh man, this big raid is a really scary thing that it's really hard to do, and you have to work up towards it to get into it. And now it's just like I hit a button, I queue up, I go see all the content.
Right.
So that's my only issue with LFR. But we're not really talking about Warcraft tonight.
No,
Overwatch.
That's true. But so let me make sure that I've counted this. So it was Cataclysm, then it was Pandaria.
Yep.
And then it was
Draenor.
Right,
Draenor.
Warlords of Draenor, and that
Just
was,
forget about that one.
Right, that was number 6, right? And then so we're on the 7th, right? So
Mm-hmm.
or is this the 6th expansion?
BC,
Burning
Wrath,
Crusade.
Cataclysm, Pandaria, Draenor, 6.
6, yeah.
Okay, 6th
1-6.
expansion, 7th in the releases. Okay, so maybe is there maybe an even odd thing with like Star Trek?
Oh, like
We're going Star Trek on it? No, look, we don't have to go Star Trek on it. Let's not do
I
that.
hope not.
Yeah, because we'll end up in some weird time directive.
Are they going to announce
nonsense.
a new expansion at BlizzCon?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I would be surprised.
I would be too.
Okay, so that being said, let's talk about the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There has been like jack squat in terms of news, but as I was preparing the show notes, kind of writing my thoughts out, they had a new developer update video that came out. Did you guys
I saw
watch
that.
it?
Yeah, I did. Jeff Kaplan, talked about what might happen, what won't happen, and what maybe really won't happen.
I missed it. What did he say?
Is it just me, or is Jeff too apologetic in this video? He sounds
Oh
like
my God,
like a boyfriend who's trying to like justify himself.
Well,
to his
we're gonna label things. This is definitely happening, and then B, this could happen, and then C, maybe not gonna happen. If it doesn't,
Probably
please don't
not.
be mad at us. He's very
Thanks for putting up with my
sweet,
lengthy
soft-
explanation. He says at the end of the video, I'm like, dude, if we didn't want to listen to your lengthy explanation, we wouldn't have. We would have stopped. I love Jeff
It's
Kaplan.
like I feel like
Don't get me wrong,
like somebody on the side should just be like, all right, cut. Jeff,
right.
come here.
Jeff,
You're Jeff Kaplan. You're basically like almost Chris Metzen. Just
right?
relax.
Exactly.
Almost Chris Metzen. I love it.
People want to listen to you. Just stop apologizing.
Yes.
Well, and that
like
honestly, like I like hearing about the updates and stuff, but I watch it because I enjoy his personality, right?
Oh no,
like
I think he's great.
Yeah, he
He's great.
seems like such a down to earth guy, and he's just like, please, like what we're putting out, guys. We're working really hard on it. We know it's not coming out quick, but come on, please, just bear with us. And there's going to be some cool stuff at BlizzCon, so just wait, please.
As if we're not all totally in love with it, right? I mean, like as if you couldn't. It's been a success, so it's
They
relax.
deal with so much trolling, though. Really.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
bad.
Yep.
Well, and that's why they have to put that buffer there, because if he says something and then it doesn't happen, then people are just going to be up in arms about it, and they're going to just get tweets and all kinds of stuff. So I like that he puts that barrier, just like, hey guys, this could happen, probably not, but we're thinking about it, and it's something that we might be able to implement on and eventually put into the game. So
yeah,
I really do appreciate that they do these developer updates, because I mean, like with World of Warcraft and StarCraft and Diablo, you just don't get to see inside the teams as much as you do with Overwatch. So
yeah,
it's a really cool
that a little bit with those games, but I think what they do with Overwatch is great.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you asked what's changing. There's some of the stuff that he talked about is already on the public test region. So, if you've looked at that, there's nothing really surprising there. Somebody in the chat room pointed out some things that are definitely true. There are a couple new heroes that he talked about. One that is very far along, and do any of us doubt that that's Sombra? Have you guys followed any of this with this?
Yeah, I think.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought we got Sombra already.
No, we got Anna.
People thought Anna was going to be Sombra, and whatever.
But
vice versa.
she's got the Sombra mask.
Well, no, because they never. They actually, that was just a community speculation that was Sombra. It ended up being Anna. So we have no idea who Sombra is. There's been a huge ARG, or that's what it's called, right? ARG.
ARG, yeah.
Which is like a in-life game that people have to crack codes and all kinds of stuff to get an idea of what Blizzard is trying to tell us. And it's been crazy the last couple months, and it's kind of died down. And I think it'll probably die down up until BlizzCon.
Yeah, so I went and checked. If you go look at amomentincrime.com, that was the news site that they originally had announced, that they used to announce Junkrat and Street Pig. Roadhog.
Roadhog.
They used that to announce those two guys, and through this ARG stuff, she ended up hacking. So as guys figured out what she was doing, the character ended up hacking this site. And if you go look, it's this loading status. When I checked this morning,
78%.
78%. So as it's ticked up, it's like it's gonna be revealed at BlizzCon. You know, it's gonna be. Yep. He. I mean, it seems like it's a she. Oh, it is a she. They've pretty much already said that, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really cool little gimmick that they can use to not give us all this much content to work with, but
right.
It's there. You can go try to find it. So.
Yeah, and I think so. Jeff says that one of the heroes is very far along, and I would assume that that's her. And then he said about the other one that they're doing a lot of play testing and a lot of internal play testing, and that they don't even have new models yet. They're just putting kind of abilities and stuff on an existing model and seeing, is this fun? Is this fun to play? It's kind of a cool idea. I didn't even think starting from that standpoint.
Let's do a little speculation here. Okay, BlizzCon is a month from yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Steve, what do you think they're going to announce for Overwatch at BlizzCon?
We were kind of talking about before, like what are they going to, like, are they going to announce a new WoW expansion? What are they going to announce at BlizzCon? And I think this year might be a year where they kind of do like semi big announcements for everything. Like even last year, I feel like Legion had already been announced, so it was sort of like, what are they going to talk about? And they kind of just amped up all of their, like, they sort of spread it evenly, because now they have, like, 6 games or something. So all they have to do is say, hey, there's a new Hearthstone expansion. Hey, there's a new Hearthstone hero. Right. Hey, there's here's the Storm hero or 5. They can just, I feel like they can just do that. Like, all they have to do for Overwatch is say, yes, Sombra's coming out, and everybody is, who's here and can play her right now, have fun.
Yeah.
And here's a new map coming out, Tuesday or whatever. So they're just I think they're just gonna do a lot of that. I don't really think there's gonna be a big, oh my God, like, here's the next expansion. Like, WoW expansion is too soon because Legion just hit. Right. Like, people are still having fun with it. Yeah, they might do like a big announcement, kind of like what they did with Karazhan just recently, where they'll say, hey, here's the, that's 7.1, so maybe here's what 7.2 will be. But again, I think it's going to be kind of a little bit tamped down. Like, they're not going to go crazy, but I do think, at least, I think Sombra is so, like, everybody is expecting it. Like, we are, like, the fact that we're talking about her, like, it's a done deal. So I think that's going to be a little anticlimactic. So I think there's probably going to be like 1 or 2 other heroes that they're going to announce. Definitely another map or 2.
Right.
And the way Jeff was talking in that update today, I definitely think there's some new game modes coming out, because he was talking about creating maps for existing game modes is kind of like easier, and they can sort of, streamline that process and get right into it. And then he even said, like, we have a map that's basically we just have to put art on it. Like, let's just get, that's where we are now. Let's do that. So I think BlizzCon these days is so much more fun, because it used to be back in the day, like, oh, it can only be one thing. It can only be a WoW expansion. And they even took a couple years off because there was no WoW expansion announcement.
Right. Yeah,
but now they have all these games, and it's so much more fun, I think, for us, for people like us, like, because I like all their games. So if they come out and say, hey, Diablo 4 is coming out, that's a big announcement. Or even if it's like an expansion for Diablo, like, I'm totally into that. anything for Hearthstone, anything for Heroes of the Storm, anything for Overwatch. Just it's all good. So.
Yeah, even if it's I agree with you. I think even if it's not a major, there's this next expansion, or StarCraft 3 or whatever. Like you said, anything that they release, I mean, they could do it in so many different ways. Where, like you said, you can play her now, and here's 2 other heroes that are coming out or whatever. Anything that they do is I think going to amp us up. I want to mention JP in the chat room, because
JP,
he's an awesome dude.
I'll see you next week, JP.
Yeah, and he just started following us, so got to give shout outs to the followers.
You're going to see JP next week?
Yeah, he's coming to CXC, dude.
Nice. CXC? Nice. It sounds like you're some kind of mutated word phrase saying sexy.
It's a festival here in Columbus, a comics festival.
Oh, so nice.
He's coming in. He's a cartoonist, so he's coming in to exhibit over the weekend, and there's all kinds of stuff going on all over the city. So, yeah.
Yeah, JP makes some amazing stuff. Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah, so anyways,
I think they're going to announce Diablo 4 at BlizzCon.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm. They've got to, man. I think Diablo 3 is dead on the vine.
I think a lot of people felt that way not too long after it came out.
It had a bit of a resurgence too, but
right.
I guess so. I try to get into the seasons, and it's like, what am I doing this for?
Right.
Yeah. The season idea worked for the first couple seasons. I feel like it was like, yeah, okay, I get it. And then it took me at least 1 or 2 seasons to realize none of this stuff carries over to the next season character.
Right. Yeah, they're just getting me to play the game.
why do I why am I if it was like the whole point of most of these games is I want something exclusive to, like in Overwatch, to bring it back. If you play competitive enough, you get the gold gun. Right. So you're running around with a gold gun. Sure. Or, if you're opening loot boxes, you get
right.
A legendary skin or whatever. It's, see how cool I am, right? But you can't do that in Diablo. Everybody starts from scratch every season. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
just making yourself happy because I've got a pet, or I've got some shoulders, and all the cosmetic stuff only works for your, you can only transfer it to your non-seasonal character. Well, the non-season lasts a week.
Yeah, you're never going to play a non-seasonal character.
Yeah, so your non-seasonal character, really? So you're just catering to the people that play so much that they enjoy that 2 weeks between season 7 and season 8 or whatever?
Yeah. Hero Mercy's wings.
And especially with Diablo, I actually think that they're going to take Diablo in a different direction than Diablo has been all these years. I think they'll still keep a lot of the aspects of it, but I actually think that they'll make it more of an MMO, not a WoW MMO, right? I've played a game. I don't know if any of you guys have ever played it. It's called Marvel Heroes, and what that game is it's basically Diablo set in a universe where I can see everybody around me, right? It's like WoW being in Stormwind. I can see these people, and I can group up with them and then go and do whatever little dungeon I want to go do. They need to add something to Diablo to keep people involved, right? Because at this point, the game is, I don't know, it's 4 or 5 years old now?
4, 2012,
and it doesn't feel like it should be that old, but it is. And so I think that they're actually going to go a different direction with Diablo, in that maybe the way they, because a big thing 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Diablo was coming out was the couch co-op. And gamers as a whole and a community have really moved away from the couch co-op. Blizzard was trying to kind of make that a big thing with Diablo 3, and it just never really caught on. So I think it's time to let everybody let 3 or 10 people get together and go do a Diablo dungeon. Let people do what they want to do in Diablo.
I mean, there's something to be said about an isometric dungeon crawl And when you play things like Torchlight or Torchlight 2, and that's as good, if not better, than Diablo 3.
Yeah. Torchlight 2 is really cool.
Yeah. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because I think that, WoW is what it is, and I don't know that much of it's going to ever change, but there are other games like Heroes and Overwatch and Hearthstone. Those are games that have fun repeatability play, have ways to expand them with new heroes, classes, challenges, etc. And it's all these games are coming out with now are built on that modular type thing. Like, you can always introduce a new map, you can always introduce a new hero, you can always introduce a new game type, and build off of it, right? Whereas WoW is a game where it's a game and then it's done, and you have to buy the next game or you have to buy an expansion. Right. And I think that with WoW you can't really start over, right? Without making a WoW 2, which is who's going to do that at this point,
right? Yeah.
But I think with Diablo they have an opportunity to totally rethink Diablo from the ground up to being more like their other games, where there's more than just the click fest that Diablo used to be.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it could be huge. And then, even StarCraft seems a little dated. I mean,
yeah, I saw that they had something like new skins available, and I haven't been in StarCraft for long enough. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Hero skins? What? So I'm way out of touch. I love it, but yeah, I'm way out of touch.
I feel like StarCraft was like the game that was pretty good, but its real purpose was to give us Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
I think that
because they built it with that engine, it was just like, okay, that's why that exists. Like, it's an okay game, but
but I think that it's you have to also consider North American markets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. StarCraft is huge in Korea, and
no, I know and I love StarCraft. I'm just saying, like, in the long run, StarCraft is sort of like it's done its job. Like,
but everyone remember when everyone used to come out with RTSs? I mean, remember Command and Conquer and now I can't think of any other fucking RTS, but RTS used to be the thing.
Right.
And then Dota came from that, and now it's all MOBAs.
Right.
I mean, they're even trying to call Overwatch a MOBA in a sense, and it's not really.
No,
it's not at all.
I can see. I won't ever call Overwatch an MMO, but I can see where they come from as far as like skill kits with Overwatch, because you have your ultimate ability, you have and you have two other abilities that you're able to use, and you're able to affect the game in that way. And I think that's where people kind of get the MOBA feeling from.
Yeah.
But which is actually because I'm huge into MOBAs. I love League of Legends. I love Heroes of the Storm. I loved Warcraft 3. It's a big part of especially my generation's gaming intake. That's what we really enjoy watching. The World Championship for League of Legends is going on, and that's like all I want to watch on the weekends. It's exciting. It's so I can see why people relate Overwatch to MOBAs in that way. But I can also see where you guys are coming from, where it's like, no, it's more like Quake and stuff like that, and Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
for sure. So, somebody in the chat room, I'm probably going to screw up how to say his name. 13 Creed. Sorry, man, if that's not.
Oh God, Creed.
Creed
everywhere.
I love Creed.
He suggested that maybe one of the next heroes that is going to be out is Doomfist. Doomfist himself. What do you guys think about that?
I've watched a whole YouTube video about Doomfist.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the Numbani map, if you look around it at the very the very last spawning point for defending is inside the museum.
Right, and his gauntlet is there, right?
Where the gauntlet is supposed to go, right? But if you look up on the side of the walls, the museum is doing a exhibition on Doomfist.
Interesting.
And there are 3 people that have been Doomfist. It's like, and it even says like I can't remember.
The Scourge.
Yeah, the Scourge, the hero, the something.
Yeah. I think.
I'm gonna have
honestly.
I just looked up on YouTube. There's all these videos about Doomfist, so I'm gonna have to go watch them next.
So let's talk a little bit about Doomfist, because that's Overwatchy. So I've said since the beginning, I don't think I've ever told Josh or you guys, but I want a melee boxer like champion, or hero in Overwatch. There's a guy in League of Legends that's called his name is Lee Sin, and what he does is he shoots out a projectile, and that projectile then locks onto somebody, and then you can reactivate your ability to dash to that person. So I would love to see Doomfist come out and be this melee brawler who's just in the fight and able to dash around and get to places. I think it'd be a really cool and interesting way to, because I was telling Josh and Barnacles last week, Jerry, that Anna came out and she was cool, but she's not really, she didn't change anything about the game, right? She didn't change how she probably changed the way we play the game a little bit, but she still has a rifle. She's still shooting projectiles. She's healing people, and I think Overwatch is to the point where it needs something to come in and rejuvenate the character roster. Because if you played in beta, you've been playing this game for almost a year now, and I think it'd be really cool to have a character come in that has just a completely different set of abilities than what we've seen before.
Sure, definitely.
So I hope that Doomfist is that.
Because it would be fun to have a guy that was a boxer or a martial artist that was, you have to get up and punch.
Yeah.
But would does that even work in the confines of the game, Steve? Do you think?
I think so.
You've got Genji and Reinhardt that are already melee characters.
Yeah.
They have range, but...
Right.
That's true. Reinhardt is very but so could this, like you were saying, you could have a boxer or a Doomfist where you have like a ranged punch that sends out like a shockwave or a slam the ground thing. But
there's got to be some consideration for a ranged ability or like a reach. And then also the thing about he's got to either have shields, like Reinhardt has a shield, so that's his primary use. And then it's basically like the idea is like if you overextend towards him or into him, you're done.
Right.
Because if he gets you in that range, you're done.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Talking about like a DPS that can kind of get in there, almost like a McCree with fists. McCree is very squishy, but if you're in close quarters, like if you come around a corner and you see McCree, it's over. You're done.
Yeah.
So same kind of thing. I think there's a, again, I think what you're saying is true. Like you need something to kind of mix up the meta and mix up the dynamic of the gameplay, but you also don't want to break it. You don't want everybody, running that character and then somehow, trampling everybody. You need it to be a situational thing, but still fun and still unique. So I think they're probably already designing crazy stuff.
Right.
I mean,
it would be interesting to see.
About Roadhog. Even Roadhog is like very, very unique. Like we're used to it because it's Roadhog and everybody knows Roadhog, but it's like that character is very different for this style of game.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's very MOBA-esque. If you ask me.
Yes, he is, because he's super situational and he's very melee strong. He's not very good with range. He's got to be up close or else you're done. So
Scott, were you going to say something?
It's just, the thing is, like I'd be interested to see if they could make a high mobility non-tank melee character work, because The melee stuff that we see now, they're all tanks. They're all slow. They don't have the mobility.
Genji is the only exception, I think.
Well, right, but his melee is the shit that you hate, right? And it only lasts for a short period of time.
Yeah.
You hear that, and you're like, shit!
Yeah.
And he's hopping around like a goddamn rabbit, and there's nothing to do. And so if you had a character that was always that, I'm going to quit the fucking game.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and they actually talked about Genji was a melee assassin up until they decided to give him shurikens. And when they were building Genji, they made him with a sword, and that was what he did.
Right, and I just
they had a hard time making it work.
Right.
So I mean, I'd love for them to revisit that. And, maybe not make the guy so mobile, right? Because as Genji, you have double jump and dash and stuff. I would love to have a hero that, if I'm going to dive in, I'm diving in, I'm committing to this fight. And I don't know if they could maybe have some kind of shield mechanic to where if you're doing damage, you're building up a shield for yourself or something like that. But I want that in the game.
Here's what I would like to see, and I know we're all over the place now, so I'm hoping I'm screwing up the format of the show.
No. But no, don't worry about it.
What I would like to see, and I don't know if they've ever discussed this or not, but what I would like to see is taking a little bit of heroes, not a lot of it, but a little bit, and putting it into Overwatch, because it would be interesting if, like, let's use Reinhardt as an example, right? Let's say that after you've gotten enough kills, you could then choose to change your ultimate. So instead of the big slam down, you can grab someone by the neck and then throw them.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that when you see a Reinhardt, you don't necessarily know. Does that break the game?
Right.
No,
I don't think so.
They actually tried that. Did
they?
Yeah, when they were Jeff Kaplan, there's some Jeff Kaplan talk on it in a few YouTube videos and stuff. But they actually had it to where, as Reaper, you could actually modify your abilities and how your passive worked and stuff. And they finally decided that it didn't really work for the game, because then you're walking up on that Reinhardt and you don't know whether he has a slam ability
or not,
and it's really hard to interpret that, and especially in a competitive aspect, because if you don't know what's going to happen, what Overwatch did was everybody's on an equal level. Your Reinhardt and my Reinhardt are exactly the same. And if I'm going to kill you on Reinhardt, I'm going to need to outplay you, and that's I think that's something that's really special about Overwatch is, it's you versus me. It's our characters versus each other, and we're gonna find out who the better Reinhardt is. You're not gonna cheese me because you have some kind of different ability that I didn't know that you had, right? So
right. Yeah. And that's what I like. That's why I like Overwatch more than a MOBA, is because MOBAs, even Here's the Storm, but especially, League of Legends, I'm intimidated by did I make the right choice? Did I spec my guy the right way?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I get to the end of the game and, I picked the wrong ultimate, now I've screwed my team. Like, that's annoying. Like, and I consider myself a pretty good, Sylvanas player, but I don't keep up on her. And even now, if I jumped in and played Sylvanas right now, I don't know what I would spec anything. I would be lost. I would just be like, this used to be good. Click, click, click. But in Overwatch, I can, after almost a year, I can jump in as Junkrat. I know, there some of the things have been tweaked, and we can talk about that later. Some of the things have been, powered up and powered down, whatever. For the most part, I know what his abilities do. I know how to use them, situational, skills and all that. So I think that is like a real big strength for Overwatch. And it pushes it away from. I think MOBA is a term we should use very loosely. So
definitely.
Yeah. Lashadra, my daughter, you guys have played with her before. She's in the chat room, so I've got to give a shout out. But she said that with Overwatch, it's skill versus skill instead of how many strategies do I have to account for?
Right.
As you get in MOBA.
And there's still meta and there's still strategy.
Yeah.
But it's just it's like a more comfortable
gentler strategy.
and there's a good amount of RNG. There's still that my gosh, every something happened, the ultimate that you threw, killed everybody, and maybe sometimes it does and maybe it doesn't, but this time it did, and we're all standing on the point. We got it. I had 2 games tonight where I was like halfway through the game, I'm like, we are losing this. And we totally rallied and came back.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that
really
aspect
cool.
of it. And it still does actually happen in Heroes of the Storm occasionally also. Like there's I think Blizzard's very aware of that and they try to keep that. It's like a magic that they want in the game, because they don't want people to they don't want the min-maxers to just trample everybody. They want the everyman to be able to win every once in a while. Not all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can lose 10 games of either of those games and you win one and you're like, yes,
let's play again.
I love this game.
It's definitely a snowball of skill, because in MOBAs and games that you're able to affect your abilities as you get more kills and stuff, there's a snowball aspect. So, this guy might be getting like 10 kills, right? And then basically he's going to be able to 1v5 your whole team. And that's it works in some games like League of Legends. I think it works great because, this guy is way better than me and he's unlocking these things that I haven't gotten to yet. Mm-hmm. And for that, he's getting a reward, as in that he's able to snowball and make the game end faster. But Overwatch, you can definitely snowball, right? You get the right team composition and you just start moving that payload.
Right.
But there's always that time where you're moving that payload really well, and then they switch heroes, right? And they have a Mei, and now they have a Reinhardt, and they have a Roadhog, and now it's a little bit harder for you to keep pushing that payload. So I've already said it, but I love that everybody is on an even playing field. There's nobody going back to the shop to make themselves more powerful. And I love that aspect. And I think that's one of the main reasons I love Overwatch so much.
Yeah.
That's why it's interesting to me that people ever ask me, like when I tell them I'm playing Overwatch, they go, "Oh, what's your main?" And I go, "What do you mean? It's not that kind of a game."
Right. Like which category are we talking? Because I have ones that I pick in each class or each role, but
I definitely have a character I'm better at than other characters. But that's the whole thing of Overwatch, is that if you go, all right, hold on, we need a fucking tank, or we need a Lucio right now, you run and you grab it. You kind of have to be good. You have to at least know how to play
everybody,
all of them.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's a matter of seeing what the other team has, seeing what your team is missing, seeing what the map is, and making a choice. Like I love playing Hanzo, and he's the character I'm probably best at, but
you're darn good with Hanzo. There's no doubt about it.
But if we're doing one of the Grease maps, it's going to be Lucio, or we need to make sure we have a Lucio or Roadhog, because they can do so much.
Yeah.
On those maps,
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, so
interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that, we've some of us have, I think at various times, different conversations, not necessarily on the same conversation, have talked about, what kind of heroes could they come up with that would mix it up. And I think it's always interesting. I'm going to be really interested to see what Blizzard does with some of the ideas that are floating out there. Because they're a bunch of creative people. I have to think that they're having the same thoughts we are.
Uh-oh.
We didn't hear what you just said, Josh.
Oh, hello? You lose me?
There you go. You're good.
There you go.
All right. Whatever. I don't remember what I was saying. I got in the moment.
Yeah. So you were talking about how they can evolve these heroes and start making stuff even cooler than it already is.
Right.
And I agree.
And I was saying that I know that they've got to be having some of the same conversations that we've had. Like, what kind of hero could we do?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you see games like League of Legends that have been around for a while now, and they're going back and actually revamping their original roster to be updated with the characters that they're putting out now, because the champions that League is putting out nowadays are just so different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have this horseman who can charge across the map, and he has this. They have just evolved their character roster so much,
right.
And they have no character in League of Legends right now feels like any other character in League of Legends, and they're up to like 120 champions in
That's
that
amazing.
game.
Jeez.
So
that's crazy.
If you think about Overwatch and the possibilities that we have to have really cool concepts for heroes, it gets me so excited, because like I was saying last week, and I've said before, I want like this scorpion creature Omnic that can burrow through walls and go to different places. And I think that type of stuff, you know, right now we have a very human roster. You know, we have some robots and stuff in there, but to have different creatures and stuff come into the game, I think would be a really great thing to happen.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I think that.
So let's move on, Josh.
Yeah, for sure. So other things in the video, going back to Jeff's video, that I thought were kind of interesting. Symmetra, they said, is being looked at, and this video was all about kind of issues or comments that the community has brought up, and one of them is Symmetra and how some things just don't feel right. And I agree, there's some things I think that need to be tweaked with her. I don't know what it would be, but that's kind of what he touched on, is he said that they're anything that they change is not likely to be a simple numbers change. It's not like this needs to have more damage output or whatever, but they need to think about what is she, what is her function? What is she going to do? How can we make her more interesting to play? And the one thing I loved that he said was that we're not going to change her into something she's not. So a lot of people have said, well, why don't you make her turrets heal people instead of doing damage or all this other stuff, because she's in support. But he said that they would rather move her out of the support category than make her into something that she's not.
Yeah.
Which I like. I mean, in a way, she does support people, right? She's not a healer, but she puts a shield on you which regenerates. And I think people overlook that.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I was just talking about League of Legends, how their Riot is now going back and revisiting these old characters that have their kits are not up to par with the new kits, and it's really cool to see Blizzard already doing this in Symmetra, because, Symmetra could be, I don't know how long the development on Overwatch was, but Symmetra could be 2 or 3 years old now. And, they I'm sure Blizzard wants to go back and revisit, especially because she's not up to par with the other characters, I think, in the game right now.
You don't?
Sorry, what did you say, Scott?
You don't think Symmetra's up to par with the other characters?
No, I don't. I think that they could work on her, and they've actually, he was talking about this today, they're going to not only change her, but they're going to retool her kit, She might still have these things that she puts on the wall, but they might work in a different way. She might, instead of having 6 teleporters, or, because Symmetra right now, she puts a shield on each person.
Right.
And that's that's boring, right? After you're done doing that, you don't really do it anymore, or you forget to. But what if instead of having 1 or 6 big shields, that was a cooldown ability, and you could put that shield on a tank for a larger amount of shield, obviously,
right,
and have that guy go in and charge a team. There's definitely different ways that they can mess with her kit to make it more fun and interesting to play with. So
true.
I think that's where they're headed with it.
So let's take a little a sidetrack, actually, just kind of change topic, because I know Scott and Steve, you guys both have not necessarily time crunches, but I want to respect your time we've been doing this almost an hour, so I want to make sure that you guys aren't up to all hours. We had the summer event, right? The summer games. It was a special event. What do you guys think about a Halloween event? You think that's going to happen for sure?
Yeah, definitely. It's too good of an opportunity for skins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they had. I saw some art for it. Did I not? Or
There's a picture in, I think, Winston's quarters of Mercy just as a witch, I think, and Torbjorn as a Viking or something like that.
Yeah.
There was also something that came out this past week, I think from Data Mining, which is actually Junkrat dressed up like like Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh, really?
And there was actually a leak about a month ago. There's a video on this that I guess some kid is friends with another kid whose dad works on the Overwatch team, and he had mentioned something about a month ago about how there was going to be a Frankenstein Junkrat skin, and then Roadhog was going to be the monster.
Oh.
So if you think about it, and they've actually data mined a picture.
I need both of those.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we'll get links to that for sure.
Yeah, they data mined a Brawl picture of Junkrat and in the art of the Brawl there is a Junkrat that looks somewhat like like Dr. Frankenstein. So
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do.
I did not care totally for the summer. I did not like Lucio Ball.
Really?
Really?
No.
Oh, I loved it.
Wow,
yeah, I
really
did too.
fun.
I don't know, man. It ain't Rocket League. It wasn't fast enough for me. Damn, cat. Fuck off, Ben. My cat just came and attacked me.
He doesn't want you talking shit about Lucio.
Yeah, he lies.
I don't know what to say.
I like Lucio Ball. Wow.
No, I hope that they do a really big, because like every Blizzard game, even thinking back to World of Warcraft, my favorite game of all time, right? Each year, they set up jack-o'-lanterns all over the place, and it's just kind of a cool theme, So if they were to miss the opportunity with that in Overwatch, I think it would be
I do like
disappointing.
The Halloween in WoW. I know it's dumb,
too.
but I really do.
It's one of my favorites.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Headless Horseman thing is always screaming.
Absolutely. Yep. So, one other question I wanted to ask you guys before you have to go is especially because you guys are both artists, is the art style of Overwatch. I've always
terrible.
Been,
it's terrible.
Yeah. I've always been curious what you guys think about it. Unplayable. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. And we got a tour of Blizzard. We went to BlizzCon last year, and we met the guy that did all the character design. And we were standing in front of this big wall with his stuff, and I was like, I hate you, and you're a jerk.
Because you're
there's a lot of jealousy. Yeah.
It's also awesome. Good, and I'm still picking details that I hadn't noticed before.
You guys mentioned the Doomfist thing in that spawn. I had never seen that, so I'm gonna have to start a custom game, I guess, and start just wandering around the map.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Well, before you guys have to go, you wanna?
It feels the thing that the saddest moment for me in Overwatch was the realization one game that this was once Titan.
Yeah.
This was once going to be
right.
Blizzard's superhero MMO.
Right.
And I love Overwatch.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. But it's like, oh man, like so many, like 2 or 3 people have tried the superhero MMO.
Right.
And failed, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was City of Heroes.
Right.
Which is great until you got your travel power, and then boring as hell. And then, there was Champions, there was another one, but it's like, they nailed it because it's superheroes, but really not superheroes, but it's so Pixar-y, like that would have been. But then you think about it and you go, the minute you start making it where people can start making their own superheroes, and it's a whole world of superheroes, and it's like, wow, but yeah, it's better that we didn't get that MMO, like that it became this.
I agree.
So.
And that's what Overwatch will always be this, right? Overwatch has established itself as a big deal in people's lives, especially mine. I mean, I love these characters. I like these characters more than Marvel's characters. Okay, and I love Marvel's characters. But I want to see more stuff in this universe. I don't want to just see a first-person shooter. I want to see a campaign missions where I can go as Soldier 76 and fight back cartels or whatever he's doing in Mexico, you know? I think this is just a start. You know, Warcraft started off as a RTS, and it turned into this amazing MMO that we all love and know today. You know, I think this is just the beginning for Overwatch, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the future. So
I was trying to think of what it was at Overwatch, the style, and I just the character design. Beyond the character design, like the voices, the character interactions, the personalities.
Yes.
It's like this reminds me of something, and it dawned on me the other day that it's The Incredibles.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely
really reminds me of The Incredibles, because The Incredibles was such a cool movie because it took superheroes and James Bond and kind of smushed them together, right? Because they were superheroes, but it kind of played like a James Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the secret hideout and and the music especially, and the design. But like, just I'm fine with Overwatch the game being what it is and the lore not working 100%, because like, why would Reaper work with Winston on a team? But I saw the Warcraft movie. We recently rented it and watched it, and I really dug it. Like, I super dug it. But the whole time I'm thinking, look, this Warcraft movie is great, and I know they sold the rights years ago, and it was a bunch of shit years in the making, and it's finally here, and we'll probably never get another one. But if you want a home run first hit out of the park, give Pixar Overwatch, or just let the Blizzard cinematic team make an Overwatch movie.
Oh my gosh!
Seriously.
Yeah. I love the animated shorts, but I would sit and watch a 2-hour flick of that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, even the WoW cinematics, just give those guys the keys.
I mean, these Overwatch cinematics, I sit down every time. You know, I don't do this with other Blizzard games. I mean, I guess I do. But I sit down with my mom, right? And my sister, who's younger than me, and I show them the Bastion cinematic, and I show them the Overwatch cinematic, and they love them. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, we don't play this game, but we love these characters, and gosh, that robot has PTSD, and oh my gosh, I'm so sad for him.
Right.
You know, and people are these characters that Blizzard has created. People connect to them. I connect to them. You know, it's something that I love, and I would definitely love to see Blizzard. You know, they're called Blizzard Entertainment for a reason, and not just Blizzard Games. They do everything over there, and so I'm excited to see what the future holds for the Overwatch team and the cinematics team over there, because I think they could do something really good.
It's just what you said. They invest in their characters, and that's one thing that I've always loved about Blizzard, and why I'm kind of sad that Chris Metzen's no longer I guess there.
We don't talk about that.
I know, we don't talk about Chris Metzen. But really, it's the investment. It's the investment in the characters, and just like Scott and I with our comics, like we care so much about our characters, and everything else kind of falls into line when you put that first. When you put the character's story first, the big story is just it's just the drapery, and that's the same thing with this game. Like Overwatch is just. It's whatever. It's just any shooter game, but on the surface. But it's not. It's these characters that we actually care about, and the little interactions they have, and the art style. All those things just make it just so much more special than just a video game. So
absolutely.
Totally agree.
Cool.
Well,
that was fun, guys.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's lots we could continue talking about if we had more time, but I know that you guys got to go, and I have to figure out how to discipline myself to stop talking about this game at some point.
Are you guys going to BlizzCon?
I wish.
Not this year, no.
Not this year. Maybe next. Maybe next
Virtually.
year.
Virtually,
yes,
nice.
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you going? Are you going to go?
I am going this year. I'm
Nice.
super. You know, like I'm having to hold myself back. I'm trying to not let myself get too hyped. You know, like because always the years that nobody thinks anything's gonna happen. It's like we were talking earlier in the show. Like, you know, we don't have this. They're not going to announce a WoW expansion. And the last time I thought that, they announced Overwatch. So I'm really excited to see what Blizzard has in store for BlizzCon. And I'm bummed that you guys aren't going to be there, but I'll be there for you guys. So.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, be our eyes on the ground.
Yeah, he may be the only one of the Uberview show there. I'm hoping not. We're still waiting for Blizzard's response on our application to get a media pass, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, brothers.
All right. Well, where can people find you online, Scott? As if they don't already know, but why don't you throw your stuff?
They may not know. Go to PVPOnline.com or go to TableTitans.com.
Both excellent. I can't tell you how many times I read Table Titans. I'm like, dang, I've got to get back to a D&D table. it's so good.
We're enjoying it, man.
Yep. It's good stuff. Steve, how about you?
Plox-comic.com is where you can read Plox, and you can contact me. All my stuff is there, so yeah.
And then of course the colors on TableTitans.com as well.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah.
I know that I gush about you all the time, Steve. I hope it doesn't embarrass you. Just your coloring's amazing.
Thanks, man. No, I'm happy. I get to work with Scott. Scott and I have been friends for a long time, but we haven't been able to work together until Table Titans. So it's a super special project for both of us, I know. And I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
I love it that much.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on. Brandon.
Oh, you can find me here on Wednesday nights with Josh usually. Other than that, on Twitter, I'm at UmphyOW. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/UmphyOverwatcher. And I think that's it.
And if you're ever playing against Umphy in the game, just know that you will see his name in the play of the game. So just
Umphy of the game.
Umphy of the game. That's the way it works. You can find me at Voice of the Big JB on Twitter. Almost all my stuff is linked there. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/thebigjb, which has not been updated in a while, but I've been posting some Overwatch stuff there. I had, and usually if I post anything, it's usually just like a thought, well, here's what I'm thinking about today kind of video. So, and then you can also find all of the information that we are sharing with you today at uberviewshow.com, our website. Email us at uberviewshow@gmail.com. And of course, again, thanks to ssrjazz for his great rating, and congrats again. Brandon, do you want to read out the quote from him that won him?
I'm finding it right now. Keep going.
It's in the show notes.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm that prepared.
I didn't go down. All right. So he said, just found you guys last night via Barnacles. Great gaming and ADHD discussion. Can't wait for next week. And he subscribed. So thank you so much, dude. That means a ton to us, and it just makes us even more willing to come back here every week and record the show. So.
And Steve and Scott, we'd love to have you guys on again sometime. It's
totally
a treat.
Yeah, absolutely.
About this.
Let's play some Overwatch in the meantime.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
For real.
Plus, I got to pull myself away from WoW.
I know.
We've got like a week left of that, dude.
I finally just had to quit cold turkey for about a week, and I think now I can healthily go play WoW again because it was definitely an unhealthy amount of WoW playing I was doing.
Well, if I don't do my ram racing tonight, I am not gonna get the Brewfest grill. So I better do that before I hop into Overwatch with JP. I'm sure he's gonna love it. But we just lost Steve. Look at that.
No.
His video camera just disappeared.
It's like he knew it was the end of the show.
I know, it's very odd.
Yeah, well, if Steve can still hear us, I don't know if he can, or Scott. Thank you guys so much again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been a huge fan of both you guys throughout the Frog Pants Network and all that stuff. So cool. You guys have been my ears for years, and it's a pleasure to finally get to talk to you both. So
absolutely, we'll do it again soon. We'll
Good
see you
stuff.
online soon too.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. And Brandon, it's always a treat, sir. And I will...
Josh, you too, sir. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.